Well, good morning. We're building a shifter mount, and so what we've got here in the roller is a piece of 14 gauge sheet metal that I'm putting a curve in to approximate the curve in the top of my transmission tunnel. The shifter will mount to the top side of this. Let me just take it out of the machine here. And this is 16 gauge, so plenty strong. It's about all that machine can handle. But the idea is we're gonna put this in here somewhere. Exact placement not yet exactly decided. As you can see, I've got maybe just a wee bit too much curve in it, but that's easy to fix. And so I'm going to mount there'll be a rectangular piece of tubing that welds to this. It'll come up here, and then the Motion Raceworks operator shifter will mount, will mount on top of that. So that's kind of the plan. And then eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend some 5052 aluminum, and I'm just going to make a console out of aluminum. So you won't see this, and you won't see much of the rectangular piece that comes out of this because the console will be over that. I've got to have a place for, cup holders, USB charge port, AC outlet, because my car's going to have an inverter in it, so I can charge my laptop and stuff driving from one track to the other, all that kind of stuff. So as you can see, we've got the dash mocked up in it now. The steering column is in it. Maybe not for the final time, but it's in there. Everything fits, verified that. So we're just kind of working on the placement now of everything in the car. So the shifter's going to go there. I've got to figure out where my keypad for my PDM is going to go. I've got a Blink Marine keypad that's going to control the PDM. I think the PDM and the ECU are going to mount in this triangular area here. Hopefully, we'll see. Nothing's really decided yet, but lots of decisions about where things get placed. And once I figure out kind of where everything fits and where everything's going to live, then I can figure out the wiring harnesses, where the wires run, how they run, where the routing is, and all of that stuff. So, this is part of it. Everything's custom. Everything is one-off. Nobody else's car is built like mine, and that's probably a good thing. But anyway, that's where we are. So as we progress along with this shifter plate and shifter mount, I'll bring you along. I'll walk over to the bench here real quick and just kind of show you. This is the piece of tubing that I'm going to mount the shifter with. As you can see, it's plenty thick. It's 1/8 wall. I want something really sturdy, something that I can bang on that shifter and it's going to be secure and it's not going to come loose. So this is going to eventually get welded to this in some orientation. I don't know if it's going to go that way or straight, and it'll be cut off at about 5 inches and ground to fit the curve, and then probably just weld that onto the plate, and then I'll make a mount to mount the shifter up where I want it, and we'll kind of go from there. So that's what we're doing today. We're building a shifter, and I'm going to run over to my metal supply store and get some 5052 aluminum. 5052 is a formable aluminum, and I can bend it fairly easily. Probably going to go 90 thousandths thick 5052 to make the console. But anyway, I'll bring you back as things progress. So here's the bracket that's going to go on the transmission tunnel, and I just took it over to the mill and kind of hogged that out, and then I've been filing a little bit, filing the corners and stuff, and just basically getting this so that I wanted this to go all the way through. So you can kind of see here in the back, it comes right through, and I think that's just going to make it a lot stronger. So I'm going to weld it from the back side. I'll probably just MIG it, because I mean, why not? Fast and easy, and this isn't something that requires TIG. So I'm going to weld that up, and yeah, we'll put it in the car. And I left this plenty long, so if I need to trim this down, or if I need to cut it on an angle, if I want to angle the shifter or whatever, I can do that. And then when I get far enough along, I'll weld a mounting plate across the top, and then the shifter will bolt onto the mounting plate. And I might just build some adjustability into that mounting plate. So I'll see how that idea progresses, but I just figured I'd bring you up to date. That's what's happened so far this morning. So onward and upward. Well, I thought I'd bring you up to date on a little bit of progress we've made on the shifter mount. Still need to do a little bit more welding, but that's basically what it's going to look like when it's mounted in the car. I mocked it up, and I found that I wanted it to have a little bit forward angle, 3 or 4 degrees. Just makes the shifter feel a little bit better in my hand. So I think it's probably about 4 degrees or so. It's not critical, it's just a preference thing. And since I'm building everything custom, I can kind of make it however I want. So, but, you know, I think about serviceability, I think about, you know, working on the car at the track and how hard things are. And so the car's going to have a aluminum console in it, and I didn't want to have to remove this whole contraption to take out the console or to service the shifter or anything like that. So what I've done is I've made this post, and then I've welded a nut on inside that just takes a regular 5/16 bolt, and then I machined up a plate that the shifter is going to bolt to, and the star washer I think is going to go in here like so. And the idea is it's going to help prevent this thing from twisting once I get it mounted and installed. We'll see. I may put a pin in it as well if I have twisting problems. I may just put a pin in it and see what happens. And then, as you can see, the shifter, once that bolt's not there, the shifter will bolt to the top of this. Let's turn it the right way. Actually, let's just hard to do with one hand and holding the camera and so on and so forth. But anyway, let me just get rid of that washer for a minute. See if I can get this bolt started. And just snug that down a little bit. All right, well, one-handed is going to be a challenge, so this is what editing is for. Anyway, you get the idea. The shifter is going to mount to the top of this, and so I can take the 4 bolts out of the shifter. Okay, well, we'll try that again. So that's how the shifter bolts onto the shifter mount, and I wanted it to be solid because you do, especially in racing, you tend to be kind of rough on the shifter, so I didn't want to bend things or break them or whatever. I also wanted to give it some adjustability, so if I needed to angle the shifter more this way, I can just make a wedge shaped plate that goes in here to make that change. If I want to give the shifter some adjustment left to right, so if you're sitting in the car and you're going to pull straight back on the shifter, or maybe some guys like the shifter to go to the side, so I deliberately left that a little bit loose, and maybe I can, no, it's not going to, doesn't want to turn, but the point is I can pivot this plate on this shaft so I could give it a little bit of angle if I wanted to. Mocking it up in the car, I felt like pretty much straight is where it's going to work good for me. This is going to be my trans brake button. Actually, no, this is going to be my line lock. And then the shifter, this is it's a nice piece. Once you get it into gear, you can just pull back on it. Man, I suck at filming this. I get too close, but anyway, it's a one-handed deal, NHRA approved. So that's kind of what that's going to look like. And then I'll show you kind of how the console is going to go on, because obviously right now you can't get a console on it. By the way, this shaft is right through this base plate, and it's welded through and from the bottom, so this is really solid. Anyway, I'll take the shifter back off and I'll kind of show you what I'm thinking about the console and how that's going to go on there. Okay, hopefully now you'll be able to see that and the video won't wander all over the place. So the idea is I'm going to make an aluminum console, and like everything else in my life, cardboard aided design. So the aluminum console, I'm just going to cut a hole in it like that, and the dimensions I haven't exactly figured out yet, but it's going to basically fit on here like this. It'll attach down low, and then the shifter will just bolt right on top. So really all you'll see of that post is probably about that much of it once the thing is installed and done in the vehicle. So I need to lay this design out, and then I got to figure out how much aluminum I need. I'm going to go buy a couple of pieces of 5052, which is a bendable aluminum, where like 6061, which I have, doesn't bend very easily. So anyway, that's kind of going to be the plan. You won't really ever see this part of this at all. All you'll basically see once it's in the car is that, and then this will be aluminum, and this plate for the shifter will bolt on the top, and yeah, that's kind of the way that deal works. And then this bolts on here. So these 4 screws just go through there. I've only got 3 in here right now, but you get the idea. So those 4 Allen head bolts will go through, and they'll go to nylocks. My goodness, Gary. There we go. And so yeah, get it in the shot. So that's how that's going to work. This will be the centering bolt. Like I said, if I need to pin it in case it wants to rotate or something, I can put a pin in it, and that's pretty easy. So we'll see how the rest of it's going to go, but that's basically, I think, going to be the shifter mount for the car, and kind of the rough idea for what the console is going to do. So I'm going to lay out some more stuff, do a little bit more welding on this. I just tacked this with the MIG, and I got to finish TIG welding it in. So yeah, that'll be that, and we'll bring you back when something else happens. Okay, well, hopefully you can hear me over the roar of the air conditioner. It's 117 degrees in the shade here in Arizona today, and my air conditioning is set to like 84, and it basically never shuts off. So I got that power bill to look forward to. But anyway, I thought I'd show you. I've got the shifter in place, and really like the way it's going to work. And so, you know, Motion Raceworks makes a good shifter, and I'm still getting used to it, but I think it's going to be pretty nice. I like it. I like the fact that it's one-handed operation. I don't have to reach down with two hands to get the reverse lockout. NHRA approved, so that's going to be good. Probably going to have CO2 bottle in here to shift it with CO2, but anyway, I just thought I'd show you kind of roughly, very roughly, mocking up a console. I've got the Holley dash kind of mocked up there. You can see that. And even when I'm strapped in, I'm leaning as far back as I can right now in the seat. I can still reach the Holley dash and do whatever I need to do. But then the next thing I have to figure out where it's going to go is this Blink Marine keypad for my PDM. And so I'm using a hardwire PDM, and I think I need all these buttons within reach. So I'm either going to mount this like up here someplace, although that's even a little bit far to reach, or what I might do is put cup holders up there and mount this back here. And you know, it's a lot more important that I reach this than the cup holder. So cup holder, thusly, and they could just drop in on each side of the shifter here, and you know, I think that would probably, so at least at this point in time, that's what I'm going to do. I briefly considered, let me just put this up here, it won't fall down. I briefly considered mounting this in this opening where the ashtray goes, but it's still pretty tough to reach, and so, you know, I don't know, the jury's still out if it's going to go here, if it's going to go here, or if it's going to go back here. I'll make those decisions as we go, but what I'm doing right now is just putting together my cardboard aided design so that I can lift this all out of the car and then figure out where I need to cut and bend the aluminum. This is just going to be an aluminum console, nothing fancy. It's not going to get upholstered. I don't even know if it's going to get painted. It might just be bare aluminum. We'll see. But anyway, I just figured I'd give you a little bit of an up-to-date, and this is, I think, the first time I've shot any video from inside the car with the steering wheel in place, with the Holley dash in place, and there are 4 gauges that are going to mount in the dash here, and then I've got a tack that's going to mount up here. All of that information is also in the Holley, but I'm an old school guy, and I like a tack with a shift light right here in front of me where I don't have to look down there. And so this is just kind of give you an idea. This is the I Did It quick release steering wheel. Don't know if I can quick release it with one hand, but we'll see. Maybe not. No, it doesn't want to come off with one hand. But anyway, quick release steering wheel, and yeah, that's what we've got going on. So just keeping you up to speed on the little bits here and there of progress along the way, but I'm really happy with the shifter. It's really solid. I'll be able to bang on it and not have to worry about any kind of moving around or anything like that. And as I explained before, it is designed so that if I wanted to put it on an angle, I don't know how tight I made this, but yeah, see, I could, if I wanted to turn it and put it on an angle like that, I could, but then it screws up this location over here for the cup holder. So I don't know that I'm going to angle it. I'll probably just keep it straight. I like it. It works fine straight, and so I think we'll be fine. So this will be line lock. Trans brake will go up here on the steering wheel. And those are the only really two input buttons. This is not a turbo car, so I don't need a bump button, and you know, none of that stuff. I will have a two-step in the Holly, but it's basically going to be a two-step programmed by when I mash the throttle to the floor, and when the car launches, you know, that's what'll control the two-step. So yeah, when I let go of the trans brake button, then it'll come off the two-step and away we go. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. I got some carbon fiber for the door panels. As you can see, I've got a ton of work left to do, but anyway, I'll quit rambling and move on and bring you back when there's something else worth looking at. So thanks very much for watching. Appreciate you. Hit the like button, comment, subscribe. It'd be great to hear from you. Thanks again. We'll catch you next time.